Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturcio and Chris Gucci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Mojo Market Report right here on a Monday. It's a brand new week, ladies and gentlemen, and it is Monday, May the 22nd, 2023. We're a week away from Memorial Day, so if that puts it in any context of how fast this year is moving, that'll do it for you. This is Dave Sturcio right here, and of course, Chris Gucci is still out. He is hanging out in Dallas, Texas right now. He's at a card convention. So, again, if you're a Mojo investor, you know the story of Mojo, where this all kind of came about. Collecting cards was a thing back in the day. I used to collect cards. I used to collect a lot of cards. And I thought, once they died off, I was like, all right, the hell with it. I'll just hold on to them. We'll see if they're worth money one day down the road. Guess what? There's another surge of cards. So Chris is out there with his business partner, Joe, and they're doing a wonderful thing over there. I think he'll be back tomorrow to rejoin me. But there's a lot to get into over the weekend. We had a lot of stuff go down. I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend. I hope everybody had a good time with the horse racing, the golf, the NBA basketball playoffs. The baseball is in full swing. So a lot of things to cover. We'll start here on the basketball front because, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat are now up 3-0. As I said, if they were able to steal another one on Friday, it was going to be a very, very hard road for the Boston Celtics to come back from. And they did just that on Friday night. Final score 111-105. In that game, Butler goes for 27. Bam Adebayo goes for 22. I have to blame one person and one person only. And everybody knows this. Over the weekend, you kind of had, this was the story of the weekend. With Jimmy Butler, there was a point in the series with the Knicks that the Knicks won, I believe it was game 2, and Jimmy Butler didn't play. Jimmy Butler was on the sidelines in his street clothes, right? And everybody in the Garden was giving Butler the wave and goodbye and this, that, and the third, right? He was just poking the bear. And Jimmy Butler decided to take that personally, pulled a little Jordan, being that it is his dad. He pulled the Jordan, and he took it personally. They went down to Miami, did their thing in Miami. Ultimately, the Heat surpassed the Knicks, right? So, Mr. Grant Williams, my man, listen, you did wrong here, okay? You don't poke the bear. And that's exactly what he did. Grant Williams is now the most hated man in Boston. You can ask Portnoy, you can ask all those Boston enthusiasts how much and how they feel about Grant Williams right now. You got one-on-one FaceTime with Jimmy Butler, and it did not do you any good. So the Heat take that one. And then yesterday, just an unbelievable performance out of the Heat, specifically, Gabe Vincent with his 29. That's off the bat. The depth of this team. Eric Spoelstra, who I used to say, and I stand by it to a degree still. But when Spoelstra got there, his first roster consisted of LeBron, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh. So I'm like, yeah, all right, good luck. You got to do a lot of effort over there to coach that team, right? And I thought it was the easiest job out there, with any sport. When you have 3 of the top stars in the league on your team, how hard can your job be, right? So then he obviously loses LeBron, and eventually Wade retires, and Bosh, into the sunset, right? So now he has nobody. They bring in Jimmy Butler. They bring in guys like Kevin Love. Like, Kevin Love was washed. He was done, dead to rights in Cleveland, wasn't even seen in the floor. So all of a sudden, now Spoelstra's using his little bit of coaching ability that he has, and he's flexing his muscle there. He's actually putting in some really key role players. Miami runs away and runs Boston off the court last night. Final score 128-102 in a playoff game. Game 3 of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. You lose by 26? It is all but over for the Boston Celtics. There is no 2003 or 2004 Boston Red Sox story here, okay? There is not. I will eat the hat on my head if that happens. I can't see it happening. Jason Tatum, he's a star in this league, but for how much longer do we take him serious when he keeps putting up these performances? He disappeared on Friday night, disappeared in the fourth quarter, right? You couldn't find him. And then yesterday goes 6 for 18 from the floor. The Miami Heat shot wonderfully. Meanwhile, Boston shooting 26% from three-point land and overall 39% from the court. You can't do that. Not against Jimmy Butler and these role players, man. You cannot get behind. And this was a track meet one-sided the entire time. So now the Miami Heat find themselves in a situation where they have one more win to go to move on to the NBA Finals. And again, what a story from the play-in to beating and dethroning the number one seed, to taking down my Knicks, to now taking down the Boston Celtics, which, again, inevitable at this point. Maybe they squeak one in Miami, but I said that. I said if Miami can get up 2-0, who cares if they split in Miami, right? Because then you'll be up 3-1, you'll be fine, right? Now they're up 3-0. Backs are against the walls for those Boston Celtics. There's a lot of questions to be answered, man. I mean, look, this is going to be the same situation as what you're seeing in Milwaukee. You know, it's great to win championships. It's a great feeling to be the top dog of the league. But once you start underperforming, your job is not safe. And I'm not sure if this coach makes it. You got Doc Rivers out there. Listen, I don't know what Boston's planning on doing, but they got to shake something up. You cannot lose to Miami, specifically possibly getting swept. Not a good look at all. So anyway, guess what? That's not the only 3-0 series. Like, this is incredible. So the Denver Nuggets, I said going into the playoffs, them and Memphis were vulnerable. And look, I'm not talking about the John Morant. Who cares at that point? And they just got beat up by the Lakers. But like when I saw Denver going in, I knew they were a good team. They had the best record in basketball for a long time, right? I mean, they're a very well-rounded team. The Joker's amazing. Murray is turning out to be, obviously everybody knew what he was, but now, he's delivering on every single front. But Denver going into the playoffs, I kind of felt like they were vulnerable. They could be picked off. And you have now a, quote, red-hot Lakers team coming in because, they've been playing good basketball. I look at what this Lakers team consists of right now, and it's starting to show year 20 LeBron. And I know that the dude averaged, like 30 points a game this year. Like, he had himself an incredible year for being in the league 20 years, right? So it's not like you can't take anything away from LeBron James. What you can take away from is the fact that the role players around him, when they're not on, it doesn't work out. And when they're missing shots, third missing bad. And it's just like, it looked bad. And Murray's first half on Saturday night was just something to be said for. He cooled off a little bit in the third and fourth quarter. Winds up with a dominant game. But when you look at Denver now up 3-0, you can't possibly say, they're gonna paint this story for you, right? They're gonna paint this story where like, oh well, it's LeBron. Can't cut them out. It's 3-0, but don't worry. They got to win 4. I mean, we're all aware how many games you got to win to get past the series. We get it. But we're about to be on the cusp of 2 dominant sweeps. 2. And I didn't see this coming in the Denver one. I did not for the life of me see this coming. Because, again, I said that they had their vulnerabilities. But after watching the Joker play basketball, for them to win by 9, and Jokic not being on his A game, really. I mean, he put up a fine performance, but he was less than dominant than what he's been. It's incredible to see Murray step up and the rest of that team step up, because the Lakers now backs against the walls. You got to find a way. Again, same thing with the Boston series. You may get the next one, right? I mean, specifically LA, because it's in LA, so they might actually, home crowd, hey, we're not dead, they're going to win the game. I'm sure you'll have a bunch of memes with, like, LeBron James mean mugging and, like, just say, like, we ain't dead yet. Great. It's going to last another game, maybe 2, and it'll be the end of the 2023 Lakers, just like that. Because, look, again, like I said, going into the playoffs, I loved the Lakers out of the West. I really did. I said, you know what? Those teams up top, they could be had. Just got to get there. Got to get there, got to get through your series, take care of business, do what you got to do. The Lakers did that, ran into the buzzsaw known as the Denver Nuggets. So, again, very interesting to see how this all plays out. We have another one, I believe, tonight, if I'm looking at the NBA schedule correctly. Let me just pull it up right here. So, Monday night, it's tonight. Do the Lakers get it done? They're in LA, 8:30 p.m. on ESPN. I picked them to win on Friday to win Saturday night. And then watching their performance on Saturday night was very disheartening if you're, a gambling man or you put your money on the Lakers. But I'm looking at this now as it's a desperate team. Denver needs to not give them any hope. They need to keep the pedal to the metal, but I don't think they do it tonight. I think they got to go back to Denver and finish this off. I think the Lakers will show up tonight. If I've known LeBron James for 20 years and everybody around him, I know that these guys have a supporting cast that can get the job done. There was a time where it was when LeBron, AD, and D'Angelo Russell were on the court, they were almost unbeatable when they were all together and healthy, right? LeBron rolled his ankle on Saturday night. The whole world kind of held its breath, but nothing to no avail. But yeah, I think the Lakers get it done tonight. So again, you can head on over to Mojo. You can do a money line bet. You can do a liquid prop bet. Liquid prop bets, if you don't know what they are, they're probably the most fantastic thing I've ever done when it comes to betting live as it's happening. There's a start price of a number that you're set at. So let's just say, for instance, LeBron's set at 31 points. I don't know the number off the hand right now because I don't have the app open, but let's just say he's set at 31 points. He goes off for 20 in the first quarter. That number's going to go up for people that are jumping in. But if you're holding strong, you're just going to cash in every time he hits over 31 points. And that's inevitably what's going to happen. Or if you think he's going to go cold, pull back a little bit, right? So it's a liquid prop bet. I think they're a really cool thing specifically to watch during these games because they are jumping up and down. The numbers and the lines are just, it's a lot of action over there on the Mojo Market and the Mojo app, which, by the way, you can get on all of your iPhones and all of your Androids, you green texters out there. I found myself in a group chat with green text the other day. I can't tell you how stressful it is. Like, it's just like you don't. And as soon as they like something, like if you like something on a iPhone, it's just the heart, and everybody knows it and everybody sees it. No notification, right? But like, if somebody likes something on a green texter, right? It's like sends a text like, this guy liked it. This guy liked it. This guy liked it. It's so annoying. So stop green texting. Get yourself an iPhone. All right. So baseball over the weekend. Listen, when I don't know, it must have been like a week ago. I wasn't writing the eulogy for the New York Mets, but it looked bleak. It looked like things weren't going the way that they intended on them to go because of the fact that obviously you have, you have the two of the best pitchers in baseball, so you fully expect for them to get going, and it didn't. It didn't happen for quite some time. But I'm here to tell you that they came out of nowhere. They came out of nowhere right now. Because if you're looking at the standings right now, the New York Mets have ripped off 5 straight wins. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're getting role players to come on board and get things done. Very awkward scene yesterday, seeing Gary Sanchez in a Mets uniform. I fully stand by this, that if you look good and you feel good in your own skin, you will play better at sports. What I mean is, the Yankees will not adapt this no beard policy, right? Or not get rid of it. And when guys leave, typically they go off because they get to look the way they want to look, right? Gary Sanchez, bearded Sanchez, much better than not bearded Sanchez. But anyway, so the Mets are rolling right now, and they need to because right now they find themselves still 5 games back in first place, along with the New York Yankees find themselves also 5 games out of first place as they win another one. And they sweep up the Reds. The Yankees right now have won 4 straight. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're playing very good baseball, despite the fact that, again, they don't have their entire arsenal of people out there. Rodon has not played yet. He's throwing from a certain distance now. I think he'll throw from a mound in a couple days. We'll see how that all plays out. I do not want this to be a Carl Pavano situation where you're just like, oh, Christ, are we ever going to get this guy on the mound? But I will say that the guys that have been pitching, Luis Severino comes back, delivers a gem of a performance yesterday. You need a game like that because if you look at the Cincinnati Reds, it's not like, they're not in there trying to win baseball games right now. They're 19-27. They're very bad at baseball. I was watching the game with my old man, and I saw that, they showed the defensive alignment, and I was just like, who in God's creation are any of these guys? You know what I mean? Like, so you should be winning these games. You got to beat the bad teams. And sometimes they say, like, winning series is the best thing. I say sweep them up. There's no reason why you should lose to these teams. And it took them a little bit, right? It didn't, not all these games were convincing fashion. But I will say this. The biggest news of this weekend for the Yankees is that they finally decided to grow a sack when it comes to their front office. There's been a lot of times in baseball, because of all the guaranteed money that's thrown around, There's a lot of times in baseball you hold on to somebody just a little bit too long, right? And that's happened. We had, over the Yankees, you had Jacoby Ellsbury, Carl Pavano, like guys that you've paid and paid and paid, and you're like, wow, man, when is this going to run out? Because when it runs out, we'll get rid of them. It's always like a waiting game. When this runs out. The Yankees told Aaron Hicks to hit the sticks, bro. Like, it was only a matter of time, I guess. People are saying, 2 years too late. Like, Aaron Hicks was serviceable. He was a weapon in the field for a little while. Switch hitting guy where that's what you need in your lineup. But he just never got it right. And I think that in New York, there is a certain standard and a certain pressure that you deal with when you're in New York. It's not the easiest place to play. The media will eat you up and spit you out. So Aaron Hicks, I feel like, started to feel it, right? And lo and behold, the last week he's been batting like 400. So for the Yankees to make this move now, it's just like, oh, all right. But again, he's DFA'd. He'll latch on somewhere, you would have to assume. But yeah, designated for assignment, Mr. Aaron Hicks. Thanks for everything. We appreciate all your contributions to the New York Yankees, and best wishes on your future endeavors. Felt like a WWE promo right there. One more thing about the Yankees. Not sure if Aaron Boone is going for some kind of record because I feel like he's getting thrown out every game. And I don't know if this is a personal vendetta against the New York Yankees or it's a personal vendetta against Boone, but you saw all the crap that was going on with the Toronto series. That was annoying, right? And then you get to the Cincinnati series, and all of a sudden there's more reviews and there's more things and there's more argumentative calls. And Boone is just, he's like a pull string, like with like Woody, you know, he's just like, and then all of a sudden he's just absolutely going ham on and up and up. It's like, that's cool, goodbye, you know, like within a blink of an eye. So again, what message does that send the team? Sometimes it sends them a good message. Sometimes it says, hey, Skip is out there fighting for us right now, and we're excited about it, and let's get behind him, and you know, let's do all the cool stuff, you know, to support our boy. And again, I'm not sure if he's trying to set a record or anything like that, but it's getting pretty goddamn close. So, in any event, that's baseball. So, I do want to say in the area of football, there is a couple things to touch on. It was Friday afternoon. NFL lost an absolute legend. There was one stat that really blew me away about Jim Brown. And look, they called him a fullback, which, again, he's a big guy. He ran hard. I almost felt like I was watching a lot of the highlights on Friday as the, you know, NFL.com was kind of like showing all his highlights. And I'm like, nobody knows how to tackle. You know, I felt like there was a lot of arm tackles. I feel like there's a lot of little scrawny dudes trying to tackle this big juggernaut of a man, and he was just moving around him. He was moving him around of the way. He was like literally stopping on a dime, shifting one way, shifting another way. I'm like, bro, where are you going? The biggest thing about Jim Brown is that he didn't miss a game. He's an Iron Man. Like, the guy didn't miss a game. So just like to know that that'll never exist again. You know, I know it happened with Favre for a long time. He was an Iron Man. He wasn't missing any games. I'm pretty sure he has the record for most consecutive games played. I think, off the top of my head, I don't know. Could be. Probably. But like a guy like Cal Ripken in baseball, that'll never be duplicated. These guys need rest days, and they need, like, you know, physical body days where they just sit there in the ice bath. It's just like these guys are, you know, coddled a little too much. I'm old school, so that's just how I see it. The NBA needs 15 days off in between series and stuff. So it's like, you look at a guy like Jim Brown, you're like, damn, man, this dude was that dude. And that's incredible. He is a pioneer. I posted about it on Friday as, you know, the picture I used. Everybody's using the same picture over and over, his youth, like, shot in black and white. I used the one where he's standing next to Lawrence Taylor on the sidelines as the assistant. I think he's the defensive coordinator for the Miami Sharks in my favorite movie of all time, Any Given Sunday. It's not close. Everybody has a favorite movie. They're all like, you know, the joke around my house is that, like, I have like 15 top 5 movies, maybe even 20. Any Given Sunday is my number one movie, not just sports movie, number one movie that I've ever watched. And I saw it with my best friend, God rest his soul. I saw it with him in the movies. His father took me to see it. And the things that I saw in that movie, I wasn't, at my age, at that time, wasn't supposed to see that. But I saw it, and I love it. I think I own it on Blu-ray. Nobody even has Blu-ray anymore. I have all that stuff. I have a Willie Beeman t-shirt jersey, so I digress with the Any Given Sunday. But yes, R.I.P., rest in power to Jim Brown, a legend and a pioneer of the game. One more thing, I believe the San Francisco 49ers getting a Super Bowl, heading on over to San Fran, so that's cool. Other headlines, it was pretty interesting. A.J. Brown just avoided all things totally detrimental to his for his career. He almost got hit by a car. He was doing like a bike-a-thon or like some kind of charity bike thing. My man almost got smoked. So you got to be careful out there and doing these things, or at least close the streets, man. God, like what is wrong with you guys? So that would have been horrific. But if you're, a Cowboys fan, you're like, if you get, scraped and grazed and, bad little scrape on his knee, you might have to miss 9 weeks of football. But no, he's all right. Everybody's okay. But that's that. But guys, listen, if you want to do us a favor right now, you could follow us right now on all the social medias. That is on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. There is live betting happening right now as we speak. So the market opens every day at 9 o'clock. Get involved with all the liquid prop bets and everything going on with the NBA playoffs that's resumed tonight. And again, give me the Lakers tonight. Not so sure that it's going to actually happen, but I do have confidence in the fact that they're not going to roll over and die. It will be a very bad look for the Lakers to be swept out of the Western Conference Finals, specifically LeBron. You're going to start hearing trade talks and this, that, and I'm not coming back, and you're 21, and this, that, and the third. I'm not ready for all that yet. I'm not. So Lakers, get it done tonight. For Dave Sturchio, this has been another episode of the Mojo Market Report. I appreciate you for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with the fallout of the Western Conference Finals and, of course, the return of Chris Gucci to the show. Take care, everybody.